there. People seem to like the current meta overall, and I feel the same as well. In that it's not the best opening patch. Maybe it is. I don't really know. I'm not able to. I think it's better certainly than last set, but um, the strength seems to be a lot more in the units. I think the consensus seems to be that Elise is way overpowered. Five Black Rose is very good. Questionable if like Scion is like that insane versus just Elise being so overtuned. But what's nice is that you can kind of play, at least at the moment, you can play a lot of units around Black Rose. Tilko, Heimer, Zoe. I've even seen Twitch. I think I posted in the ASA TFT coaching group. So it seems flexible in that sense, at least that line. And then there's at least still a couple other lines that are not like infinitely worse than that line with Sentinel Heimer and the Scrap Corky line as like a main S tier. And then Cog reroll being like almost as good, but just kind of not enough DPS sometimes. It depends. So with some setups, I feel like it can still be as good, but
Are you ever backlining police just like in a pinch?
oh, not just in a pinch. Backline at least I think
That's
is
the primary.
one of the best forecast. Yeah, it really just depends on like what other backliners you have. But I very often backline Elise. Backline Elise is really, really good. I don't know if oh I guess I'm too into the weeds into like discussions with good players and stuff, but I thought it was already like fairly known and common knowledge that yeah, backline Elise is a beast. Just any random AP items. I've even done like anomalies on her when she's my like main DPS unit. But basically, the way I've seen this five Black Rose line played, ideally it's from ahead. It doesn't have to be. Ideally, it's from ahead. Usually, it's like with some form of econ because it's a four cost line. And then it just depends on what you find. And like, let's say for example, you find yeah, like this. You find a Garantu. You find you should be cooking a bunch of units. By the way, let me pull up a planner as well when you play this line.
Are you
Um,
playing? Are you itemizing Elise over like Heimer if you have both of them?
If I have both, then no. It also depends on the items, but like especially the more blue buffy and archangel you look, like, the more like then I tend to play Heimer. But usually you won't find either. In most of your roles, those units are so contested. But are we recording now, right? So I should use
Yeah.
if you plan to put this off, yeah, I'll use Meta. Okay. But yeah, I find that basically when I'm playing this role down on level 8, ideally you have I mean, you will be playing to your Morgana. You can see my screen, right? To like your core. And hopefully you have one at least. Hopefully. Okay, so we'll put these all on the side here. The units you should be clicking here to like round out your board should be pretty damn wide. Like if you really wanted to like click everything which can stabilize you, Blitzcrank for Dominator because it's a pretty good 2-star frontline on stage 4, which can allow you to go 9 if you 2-star it and have like a solid board. And I'll put the options for what you can backline and frontline in a sec as well by putting like items on that. Let's see. I'll start it now. So so these these units you never itemize. The units you can itemize as backline, I'll put a Shojin on them. This and the units you can frontline, I'll put a frontline. I'll put like a where's Warmog? A Warmogs on them. So at least is potential for both, right?
Mhm.
Blitz and then Nunu. You should be really this is like a big part of going 9 is you should be able to oftentimes, if you get a good board, stabilize on like a 3-star, sorry, 3 cost, 2-star frontliner. I've
And
seen Nabi at like duo carry.
when you say fast 9 off of a 2-star 3 cost, you're doing that on a one, like an Elise one.
It just depends on your HP, right? Like, uh, I don't know if I have enough VODs at the moment to pull up and show examples, but not necessarily a fast 9. A fast 9 tends to usually imply like not rolling at all or not
Yeah.
much. It's like basically you stabilize on 4-2 when you're from usually it's when you're from ahead. If you're from behind, typically you're playing to hit a 2-star 4 cost or like a very stable board. Whereas like I tend to view stability as like kind of relative, where your stability oftentimes it's the stability dependent on your HP, right? If your HP is way ahead, stability is like just don't take like 8 unit losses if you really don't want to take that much damage. Your 100 HP, even an 8-unit loss isn't even the worst thing in the world at 4-2, right?
Mm.
Ideally, you don't take those, but and when you all need is relative stability, these 2-star 3-cost frontliners will often, in not the worst matches, either get you a win or like a 3-unit loss or less, which is like not even that bad. Um, yeah, these are the units you want to be backline clicking and itemizing. Let's leave out Twitch for now and assume we're AP. Um, and then your front line, yeah, your Garen for sure. Um,
Are you
let me just
most of
put
the time playing like like not slamming blue buff unless you hit an early Heimer, just so that you can maintain flexibility across all those backliners?
yeah. I'm rarely slamming blue buff. I think blue buff is it's hard to make because you use so many things out of tier. Archangel is very good, Shiv very good, Shojin is like good enough. That I tend to slam adaptive a lot because it goes on both backliner and frontline. And like, yeah, it's not Bissheimer, but for me, I think it's fine. I tend to be a little more willing to angle Heimer under two conditions. Like Heimer specifically. One is I have a ton of upgraded sentinels, and two, um, I look around and it doesn't look like there's a Heimer Sentinel player. You will be contested by anyone that plays Black Rose on Heimer, but they're not like very guaranteed to like play around Heimer. For example, if they had a Zoe 2 or a Silco 2, they're less likely to even have to click this guy anymore. But if you see a guy with Sentinel or Academy Spat or things like that, you are definitely contested Heimer and you're contested by Black Rose players. That's the main reason I don't like making blue buff early is and like hard committing to Heimer when this line in my mind is such high EV in that you can't really miss. Assuming you don't leave yourself like 15 gold to roll on forward 2, which if you are, then it is just or just not playing with the spot correctly. Swain can also be your frontline tank for a little bit. This is still not. I don't think this is still over. Like, am I missing anyone? I think this is mostly it. Oh, Mundo. And your backliner should also include you can also very often go 9 off of like 1-star 5 cost, depending on your HP. So this is why a lot of players, in my opinion, this is why, and I think this is what they're expressing in like lobby too, why people like the current meta in this sense, in that you literally click on all of these for your front line, all of these for your back line. And you just mix and match sort of with like, yeah, you'll have to figure out like +1s to make these traits work. But um it's super flexible, right? This is what 11 units besides the core here that you can kind of click and play around. I'm probably even missing. You probably could even tank a Scar, to be honest. He doesn't have Firefly, but like if you're like way ahead in HP, you have Watcher. Like sure, man, two-star Scar, and you have 2-star Cass. Like that's and you're at 80 HP, and you have 40 gold. Put 30 gold on 4-2, you just go 9 from there. I can totally see this, because the Scion is so beefy, and you will kill units.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, I would say like this is sort of how the Black Rose line seems to be played. As far as like if you really wanted to play for a win out, it looks like Heimer is the best in the stats. But I think that's kind of fake. I think a lot of like true win out is depending on your spot, your augments and whatnot. Yeah, it looks like Heimer 4 Visionary specifically, which is like Nunu, Malzahar, Morgana, and who's the last one? Nunu, Malzahar, Morgana, Heimer. Yeah, and Heimer. Yeah, those 4.
I saw someone on Twitter post that a Mal's 1 could be stronger than a Heimer 2 unless you have the anomaly, like a Heimer specific anomaly. What's your thought on that?
I find it personally, I find it very hard to feel strongly about claims such as like 1-star unit is better than X 2-star unit until I've put a lot of reps into it or seen it on stream myself. I'm surprised that X person can make such a strong claim. I don't know if they're making a strong claim, but to me at this point in the set, like, is it really that easy to say, okay, this I've played enough refs of this guy and this guy, this one is stronger. I feel like it's so hard to know. But
You
yeah,
need
and
like infinite fun line for that to work, or for that to even be like close to true.
yeah, I can maybe see it. I have seen Malzahar be a B, and both these units need a lot of front line, but nonetheless, like Malzahar is a beast. So I can maybe see it. I don't know though. I don't know. I would tend to say no. My opinion right now is that Heimer 2 is better, but I could be wrong. Could yeah, I don't know.
Okay, and I
Um,
assume LeBlanc 2 better than Malzahar 1, even though if he on the 4 visionary board.
oh yeah, definitely. You just upgrade whatever 2-star. You itemize whatever 2-star, and if you have usually, it's not that easy to move all your items around the end game because you're starving for removers because you should have been using them for a lot of the game.
Mhm.
Unless you're really playing for win out, then it's fine to greed removers. But yeah, I think if you do have excess items, then I guess you'd say that Malzahar 2 is if you're playing the 4 visionary board, is better than LeBlanc. LeBlanc, you kind of want more mana-y items, I think, than there's like some initial tiers just to get the chain um, damage amp going, but Malzahar probably best, it looks like, for like true like DPS, but I don't think hyper optimizing where the items are is what gets you to win. What typically gets you to like really secure a win is just going 10. And sorry, I'm missing one unit here. A really good unit. It's Mordekaiser as well. Like I've seen every variant of this board win. I can probably show you maybe if I pull up my match history, which I've been not winning a lot so far. I've been taking so many seconds, which has been annoying. Uh, we can look through like what has been winning my games.
How much of the time, I guess we'll take a look here. How much of the time are you okay, it seems like you're finishing with Elise's backline pretty much all the time, like you were 70% of the time.
Mm, is that true? I'll probably say 70%. Yeah. Like this person has backline at least. This is what is this though? Did they even play Black Rose? They did play Black Rose. They did, but like I guess they have a spat. But yeah, see, they have like a Silco, they have a LeBlanc, they have Mundo on this board. They even have a Rennie. I don't know why. Um, this one was Heimer, Black Rose, at least front. See, this is at least frontline. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Mal's and Jace backline. I think I died to this. I'm an 8. Uh, this one I'm Elise backline. I'm double Elise backline to beef up my Scion even more. It didn't work out though. And my frontline here was Mundo. Uh, this one is Elise frontline with Heimer backline. Look, this guy has, it makes sense, right? This guy has Mal's and LeBlanc and Heimer backline. So of course you don't need Elise backline anymore. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah. If you have Elise frontline and Garen frontline, I assume you prioritize Garen, right?
Um, yeah, well, I would say it depends on
Unless
the
you have
item.
mana
The
items.
more warm rugs your items are, the more I would do the more I would do Garen, the more like adaptive and Vow, I would start to think more Elise. I think I had a yeah, this one for example was a pretty felt like a pretty strong Elise frontline game.
Mhm.
Adaptive, trench coat, Vow, and you just CC a fuck ton, right? But like here I have other random backliners, right? I have a Silco, I have a LeBlanc one. Um, not to claim that I'm playing this meta perfectly, but I have seen like both very like this is basically what I seem to see a lot do well.
Right. And what
Um,
percentage it seems like you're playing this like 80-90% of your games right now?
um, I wouldn't. Is that true? I play a lot of scrap as well. This is a scrap game. This one is a failed pit fighter wandering trainer game. Well, it's kind of hard because there are no wandering. You don't see the augments anymore. Um, this one was a patient. What was it called? The one where you wait for a one cost. Yeah, scrap. As soon as it leaves, I think scrap is still very very good as well. Um, let's see. Yeah, we're another worth the wait game here. Another scrap game. This one is Heimer Sentinel with random Ezreal 3. Scrap. Yeah, I think Scrap is still very good as well. See, basically, I don't think it's very easy to angle the Black Rose line when you have AD items and when you don't have you really, really want Morgana to um, Vlad too. You definitely still should play when you don't have those, but you really want those ideally, because they really change they change your silence HP a lot to have them upgraded.
Right. So you're mostly
Which
playing
was yeah,
scrap on the AD drop item drops, and then Black Rose with AP drop.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think you should Cogma if you have early Cog and AP and Black Roses, which it'll likely always be contested. And then if you have a bunch of Sentinel units, and it doesn't look like anyone else has Sentinel units, then you consider Heimer. Yeah, that's sort of how I've been playing the patch. Yeah, it looks like the person playing the patch best is Setsuko, which makes sense because you go 9 and just given his playstyle, he's doing very well in that sense. I believe he's rank if he's not ranked, he's like rank 2 with like 9 fewer games. So he's definitely playing the patch best, right? And Precedent's also playing it well. But and he is playing Black Rose, but this guy is cooking and doing well. 6 Automata, um, Black Rose, I mean, a lot of Black Rose, uh, Pit Fighter Spat, probably salvaging some games. I'm guessing these are like off of random +1, either trainer golems or branching out or stuff like this. He doesn't have, I don't think he has VODs. I don't know if he's enabled VODs now, but like he manages, like these are the games that I think he does very well. Like these games, he's Pit Fighter Spat, Stork Spat. I saw this game like a little bit off of I think he took branching out. He just played scrap anyway. He still manages to salvage like not eights when he gets shit spats. Whereas, or not shit spats with like non obvious line. Whereas I've gotten I got Pit Fighter Ambusher, tried to make it work. I rolled a little bit, but took a step from a wandering trainer dummy. Um, but yeah, but as you can see, a lot of Black Rose. Um, this one is Sentinelheimer. But yeah, playing around 5 costs obviously is one of his strengths. Um,
What's your like process for figuring out the meta? Like, how did you come to this conclusion that this is the way to play like Black Rose and all of the flex lines? Like, are you spending a lot of time in the team builder and like kind of theory crafting it out? Like, is it mostly through playing? Are you like watching a ton of VODs? Like, what's your process to like if I'm trying to if I didn't have you to help me figure this out, like what is
yeah,
kind of your from the ground up process to come to these conclusions?
a lot of it is seeing what other players that are doing well are doing and seeing like right now seeing what people are saying in lobby 2 is definitely one thing, but I think the main thing that I will trust the most is what is doing well in my lobby. I think I we kind of proved it just now in that I looked through my games and we saw I mean I didn't go like really scrutinize it closely, but like um we saw a lot of where am I? A lot of Black Rose at the top, right? And basically every time I'm unexpected, I'll have a meta read when I start out in the patch, right? And I'll play it, and then my games will go either well or poorly or whatever. But like mid game, I'll look around or like I'll see what boards I'm losing to. That'll be like one of the strongest factors to know like okay, this is what's doing well. Um, and then the other thing is definitely stats. Right? Like if you look, I think stats will tell you that 5 Black Rose is good. It won't tell you exactly how to play this line, but it'll tell you 5 Black Rose is insane, given how easy of a trade it is to really play around. I assume 4 Black Rose doesn't show up as very good here. But yeah, for example, the stats will also show us that the Heimer line is best if we go, where's Explorer? Explorer 5, Black Rose. Um, like Heimer is insane minus Delta, right? In this line. But it's a mix of, yeah, I also see people in a couple of Discord groups saying, which I believe and I've done it and I've seen it do well. So it's like a mix of what people are saying and what you're seeing. People saying this line is super flexible. You don't even have to play this Heimer guy. You click Zoe, you click whatever. Everyone's saying it and you see it. So it's a mix of both of those, if that makes sense. If you're not in these groups where people are saying a bunch of stuff, then you're a little more reliant on getting into these groups or just seeing what's doing well in the games. Um, you also have the benefit, I guess, of streamers and hearing what they're saying, which is not always correct, but if it lines up with what you see, then it's more likely to be correct. Um, Setsuko played sort of this way as well. I think when he played the Black Rose lines, I don't think he was hyper like going for one particular unit. We can look through his Black Rose games as well. But yeah, that's basically what I think Prest Event plays a lot of Black Rose, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen him in a lot of my games as well.
And when you say what's doing well in your lobbies, how frequently are you going back? Or I guess multiple questions. One, are you waiting until the end of like watching till the end of the game, or are you quitting the game and then queuing up and then looking later at like what finished first? Or are you mainly looking at like what knocked you out? Like how do you go about kind of accumulating?
Well, ideally you're going top 2, top 3, so you're seeing a lot of the late game boards. I guess if you're going I think optimally, well, it depends how you define optimally for learning, yeah, you stay in every game. If you go 8th or 7th, I'm really not really usually in the mood to, like, stick around the entire game. Usually, it's when you're 3rd that I feel like it's most reasonable to, like, stick around more and see what you lost to, and you're not, like, too pissed off about how your game went. Um, if you're, like, 5th or 6th, it starts to be a little more it depends on, like, how you want to use your time in that sense. I tend to still, like I'll do a peep around, and this like, you'll see here, like, this guy, is playing random frontline back. Like, here's the backline Elise, right? Backline Elise here. We already saw a good amount of frontline Elise as well. Here's backline Elise again. And you'll see here he's carrying Heimer this game, LeBlanc this game. This one is Sentinel. This one is LeBlanc, Mouse, no Heimer. This one is Elise, backline, LeBlanc. So he's playing a lot, he's getting to the 5 costs here. But if we find games where he doesn't get to the 5 costs, we should see that he's also itemizing things like here he's Silco. Yeah, see this? This one is 4 Black Rose. He decided to play, I assume 4 Dominator. Yeah, see he's 4 Dominator, and he found the Rumble too, right? So I'm just showing that like what I'm seeing, what I'm saying is sort of backed up by a lot of these players' match histories, and that it's just whatever you find. And here he's frontline at least. See? So like he's not of the opinion that one is way better than the other. He's down to like flex it depending on the rest of his board.